Picture this. You just finished an absolutely wonderful meal, but like 20 minutes later, you're hit with this distinct, super uncomfortable tightness stretching right across your stomach. You know the exact feeling, right? It's that heavy, distended sensation where suddenly your clothes feel a whole size too small. It's incredibly frustrating, and honestly, it can totally ruin your day. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why this happens and dive into some science-backed, natural ways to finally get you some relief.
Now, right off the bat, we need to make a really crucial distinction. Passing a little gas or having some mild flatulence after eating certain foods, totally normal. That's just your body doing its thing. But true bloating is a different beast altogether. Bloating specifically happens when there is a physical buildup of trapped gas in your intestine. That trapped gas is the actual culprit behind that hallmark feeling of pressure, tightness, and absolute discomfort. So no, it's not just in your head, it is a literal physical buildup.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the mechanics of bloating. Then, quick natural home remedies. Third, the constipation connection. Fourth, foods that trigger gas. And finally, gut-friendly lifestyle habits.
All right, starting with Section 1, the mechanics of bloating.
To fix the problem, we kinda need to know where it starts, right? So visualize the journey your food takes from the second you take a bite. It's a multi-stage process. Step 1 kicks off in your mouth, where enzymes start breaking the food down. Then Step 2, it travels through the stomach and into the small intestine. And that's where all those vital nutrients get absorbed into your body. But Step 3, well, that's where things get really interesting for us. Whatever didn't get digested moves right along into the large intestine. Down there, your gut bacteria basically have a feast on this leftover matter. They break it down and ferment it, and this fermentation naturally produces gases. Now, if you have a sensitive gut, those gases don't just pass smoothly, they get trapped, and boom, there's your bloat.
Let's jump to Section 2, quick natural home remedies.
If you are dealing with that trapped gas right this very second, you need immediate triage. Before you go completely overhauling your life, check out traditional Indian pantry staples. They can offer surprisingly fast, natural relief for occasional bloating. We're looking at 3 absolute powerhouses here. First up, ajwain, or carom seeds. These guys are packed with a compound called thymol, which literally kicks your gut enzymes into high gear to help expel that trapped gas. You can just chew a pinch after meals or sip water infused with it. Next is sanf, fennel seeds. People have chewed fennel for ages because it has incredible carminative properties, which is just a fancy way of saying it directly relieves flatulence and moves gas out. And finally, hing, or asafoetida. It's medicinal magic for digestion. Seriously, just adding a tiny pinch of hing to a glass of buttermilk after lunch or dinner works absolute wonders to keep your intestine completely bloat-free. Moving right along to Section 3, the constipation connection.
Because, wait, there's a catch here. What if you try all those home remedies and you're still feeling tight and uncomfortable? Well, we have to look a little further down the digestive line. If you're backed up, chances are you're going to be bloated. When waste moves too slowly through your system, those gut bacteria get extra time to ferment the lingering food, making even more trapped gas. And this brings us straight to fiber. The recommended daily intake is 25 to 30 grams. To put that into perspective, that's about 2 to 3 bowls of veggies, a couple pieces of fruit, and a couple bowls of legumes or whole grains every single day. The reality? Most people miss this mark completely, and that leads directly to constipation and, you guessed it, severe bloating.
But here is the absolutely crucial point. If you just ramp up your fiber to hit that goal, you might actually make things much worse if you ignore hydration. Women need to target about 2.5 liters of water a day, and men should be hitting around 3.5 liters. See, fiber acts like a giant sponge. It needs to absorb water to soften your stools so they can actually move smoothly. Pumping up the fiber without hitting those water numbers, that's a one-way ticket to massive, painful constipation.
Now, what if you're nailing your fiber and water goals but still feel totally sluggish? You might need a prokinetic. As defined here, a prokinetic is a substance that stimulates and improves gastric motility. Basically, it's a jump start that gets your digestive tract moving. And guess what? Ginger is a fantastic, completely natural prokinetic. You can easily toss fresh ginger into your meals, your teas, or chutneys, or you can use dry ginger powder, often called synth, to really help speed up a sluggish gut.
We also really need to talk about the bacteria themselves. Bloating is so often tied directly to poor gut health, specifically a state called dysbiosis. That's basically the scientific term for when bad bacteria take over the good guys in your gut, causing massive overfermentation and tons of gas. Adding probiotic-rich foods like curd, buttermilk, kefir, pickles, kimchi, or sauerkraut, that directly fights dysbiosis by rebalancing your entire gut microbiome.
All right, section 4, foods that trigger gas. So now that we've covered the mechanics and the remedies, we got to talk about defense. Because sometimes the very foods you think are super healthy are actually actively sabotaging your sensitive gut. One of the biggest dietary culprits out there? FODMAPs. These are specific types of carbs that our bodies really struggle to absorb, but our gut bacteria absolutely love to rapidly ferment. For example, large legumes, like certain dals and lentils, contain these things called oligosaccharides. They are incredibly nutritious, but highly fermentable. If you're sensitive, you might need to soak them longer, swap them for smaller legume varieties, or maybe just temporarily remove them altogether. Similarly, high-lactose dairy products, think paneer, cheese, or ice cream, are massive FODMAP triggers and can cause some serious digestive distress.
There's also a major misconception going around about raw foods. The whole health hack of eating giant bowls of raw salads? Yeah, that can actually backfire massively and lead to excessive gas production in a sensitive gut. And the exact same goes for raw spices. Spices like turmeric, black pepper, cumin, and coriander, you really shouldn't be eating those raw. Just like traditional cooking methods have always dictated, cooking your veggies and tempering your spices makes them significantly easier for your body to break down and actually digest.
Just a quick warning here on zero-calorie alternatives, too. Artificial sweeteners like stevia, aspartame, and sugar alcohols, they are notorious for causing excess gas production and bloating. Honestly, unless you have a specific medical reason to be consuming these, it's generally best to just avoid them if you want to keep your stomach flat and comfortable.
Finally, Section 5, gut-friendly lifestyle habits.
Let's bring this all into our daily routines, because how you eat is just as biologically critical as what you eat. Here are 4 behavioral shifts you can literally make right now. First, aim to eat only until you're about 80% full. Overeating, like eating well beyond feeling satisfied, literally overwhelms your digestive system's capacity, and it's actually the most common root cause of bloating. Second, completely eliminate distracted eating. Third, start eating early dinners. And fourth, ditch those highly processed packaged snacks. They basically create the perfect environment for bad microbes to thrive in your gut.
I actually want to double-click on that second point about distractions, because it is fascinating. Digestion is a multisensorial experience. Just seeing and smelling your food act as vital neural cues that literally tell your body to start secreting gastric juices and saliva. If you're just mindlessly scrolling on your phone while you eat, you're totally skipping those critical biological cues. Your body simply isn't prepped to digest the food efficiently. The result? Poor absorption, and yep, way more gas.
And timing matters immensely, too. Aligning your meals with your body's natural circadian rhythm is an absolute game changer. You really want to aim to finish dinner between 7 and 8 p.m., or at the very least, 3 hours before you go to sleep. Giving yourself this buffer gives your digestive system ample time to completely break down your food before you lie down. The payoff? Optimal digestion, way better sleep quality, and waking up with literally zero morning bloat.
Wow, okay, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground in this explainer today, from the biology of gut fermentation to the magic of a simple pinch of hing, right down to putting your phone away at the dinner table. So I'll leave you with this final thought to really reflect on. You now know exactly what foods to choose and what to avoid, but are you actually giving your body the biological peace, the hydration, and the mindful environment it truly needs to digest it all? Take these tools, tweak your habits, and give your gut the respect it deserves. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and here's to a happier, healthier, and way more comfortable digestive system.